Good morning and welcome to Now Streaming. It's a beautiful Thursday morning and we're excited this morning because a few decades ago a son was born and today he is the anchor on which the Church of Nigeria Anglican Communion rides on. And we're equally excited to bring you the latest news and sports updates. I'm your anchor this morning, Chiku Ebuka Ike. And I have with me in the studio Mr. Raphael Ojaokomo, the popular face on this.
Thank you, and thank you for having me once again.
All right. Well, Mr. Raphael Ojaokomo is a social and sports commentator. And also joining us again this morning is Prince Kelechi. Prince Kelechi, good morning. Welcome to the show once again.
Good morning.
It's
Thank
been
you.
a while.
Yeah.
Welcome back. All right.
Thank you.
He is a professional referee and a sports analyst. And joining us virtually from Delta State is our regular analyst, Comrade Abraham Soko. Comrade Abraham, good morning. Comrade Abraham is a political and social sports analyst. All right, so viewers, remember you can join the show this morning by calling the numbers showing on your screen right now or sending your comment via our various social media handles. We've got a lot packed for you this morning. Now, let's talk about sports. Our focus today is majorly on the Super Eagles coach job, and then we'll look at Nigerians' preparation for the 2024 Paris Olympics and the latest in the Nigerian local sports news. We will also review the just concluded Euros 2024 and Copa America 2024, and finally, we just give you a little transfer gist, and the preseason match updates. All right, so stay with me in the studio, Mr. Raphael Ojaokomo. He is a shushu and sports commentator, and also Prince Kelechi also is equally a professional referee and also a sports analyst. Remember, we have Comrade Soko joining us virtually from all the way from Delta State. Comrade Soko is a political and sports analyst. Gentlemen, it's good to still have you here in the studio with us. All right, so let's move on very quickly. We have before us this morning Punch Sports Extra, and Punch Sports Extra has its late story with a picture of Nigerian girls dancing. It said, "Dancing to Paris. Can African champions, the Tigers, break 20 years winless Olympics jinx?" All right, that's on page 2 of Punch Sports Extra. All right, so beside the max head, we have the story on page 7. It said, "I did not enjoy watching Eagles at AFCON." That's coming from Osaze Odenwinge. That's the former Super Eagles star, Super Eagles player. All right, page 6 has the story on PSG in advance Osimhen talks. And page 6 also have a story on transfer gist with Villa giving Iheanacho transfer green light. And then page 6 then have the story on Wabali returns to cheaper training. Page 4, United beat Madrid to Euro signing. All right, then continue on page going back to page 2, we have Usman Kni on UFC return. All right, and page 3 also have the story on Baka agrees personal terms with Williams. This is, I think this is Nico Williams. Yeah, all right. So, and page 6 has Akbom on shore of Aja's future. Arsenal ponder what Kings move. That's on page 4. And then we have the news on cricket. It says Kenya edge Nigeria 3-2 in bilateral series. And then we also have a US-based boxer Mokolo eyes title fight in Lagos. Then finally, we have the story on page 7. It says Paris Olympics 2024 Falcons land in France today. All right, gentlemen, let's before we talk about these stories, we want to talk about on a very sad note where the chairman for the committee on sports at the Federal House of Representatives was said to have passed on earlier in the week. I think the early hours of Tuesday, and want to commiserate with the family of Honorable Adams, who was an ex footballer and ex manager, and currently, before he's deceased, the chairman on the Committee of Sports in the Federal House of Representatives. So we commiserate with the family, and We pray that his soul will find rest in the bosom of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. All right, moving ahead, I think we should just give a few seconds of silence in honor of the Honorable Chairman. May the soul of Honorable Adams and all those who have passed on find rest in the bosom of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. In Jesus' name.
Amen.
All right, now back to the sports stories. CAF is set to come to Nigeria to inspect our stadiums ahead of the CAF competitions for this 2024-2025 season. And then there has been a speculation that it's only the Uyo Stadium that has been approved for the CAF competitions. But NFF has come out to debunk it and say that for now, Uyo Stadium is the only one that has been totally approved, but 3 other stadiums are in review, and CAF is going to visit Nigeria sometime this week to inspect the other 3 stadiums. And you, as a Nigerian registered referee, what do you have to say about this intended visit of CAF to inspect 3 other stadiums in the course of the early days of next week?
Well, just like you said earlier, Uyo has been approved. You have gotten the green light, and the other stadiums,
You have
yes,
the Eyimba Rangers Stadium and the El Kanami Warriors Stadium.
yes. Now, if you look at these stadiums, the last season of the Nigerian Professional Football League that just finished, do they have the facilities?
That's what they are coming to inspect.
Now, earlier also this week, if I'm not mistaken, the NFF gave these stadiums. They gave them a charge to fix their facilities. But do you want to tell me that within that and now they fixed it, within the shortest period of time they fixed it? Which is no, they haven't. Okay, these stadiums are not up to the standard, in quotes, of CAF. Even our national stadium here in Abuja also did not pass the test. Is it the other stadiums?
And it's still answering national stadium.
Hopefully we'll change the we'll change the gospel about Bio Stadium to
That's
National
Uyo to
Stadium
the
because
National Stadium
that's
of Federal
where
Republic.
we use. Okay, that's where we use. Now the advantage of having the National Stadium here is that our female films, whenever they play in the National Stadium in Abuja, they're always successful. Okay, that aside. Now coming back to these stadiums, yes, they'll be playing continental football. Okay, and if you don't have the required standard, forget it. You just have to go look for a stadium that is up to that. And from the look of things so far, only the Gospel Apabio Stadium is up to the international standard that is required. And if that's been the case, if other stadiums don't pass this test that has been going to carry out by CAF, you should be rest assured that all, in quotes, the home matches of these teams playing in the country is going to be held at Uyo, except otherwise. But for now, that's just it.
All right, until their final decision, we'll cross our fingers and wait for their final decision. Mr. Raphael, don't you think that CAF was following through the process when we had the issue between Eyimba and Rangers United, and their stadium had to be overcrowded, and which led to the commotion that happened within and after the match? Do you think CAF will approve that stadium for?
I think they will do so, because the stadium, I've forgotten the name. The Rangers
Stadium.
Yes, the Rangers Stadium.
That's not the Azikiwe Stadium. Yeah.
It's in good shape. The reason why the Uyo Stadium is the only stadium that has been approved at the moment is because that's where we play all our games.
International
Do you
matches.
understand? That's where we play all our games. So that's the one that they until they come into town. We have good stadiums with good pitches in Nigeria. We're not able to give you their names one after the other, but I'm very sure even the Samuel Ogbomoja Stadium in Benin City, I think is in good shape. The one that they played the Eyimba and Rangers game too was in good shape. The only issue we had with that game was the issue of security and overcrowding. If those issues can be managed, I don't think we should have a problem with that. And then I think we'll have one again in Lagos. There's one in Lagos, yes. Do you get? So
Yeah.
I believe they will get more than enough when
Mojibola Stadium.
Yes, Mujibola Stadium, yes.
Johnson,
Mobolaji.
Where
Mobolaji Johnson, yeah.
the presidential
Yeah.
Final was played. Do you understand? So I believe that when they come to Nigeria, the reason why we're mentioning Uyo is because that's where Nigeria plays all Super Eagles games, except for the ladies who play in Abuja.
Yeah.
I don't think Abuja will pass that test because they need to check that grass. A grass that your leg would sink into and you're playing on. I don't think it's a good pitch. But I believe that they will get a good number of stadiums, centers in Nigeria.
If I may add to that, the truth be told, most of our stadiums in Nigeria just need renovation. Let's just tell ourselves the truth. If we're going to renovate them, we'll have good stadiums, very good ones. If you go to Kano, the Sani Abacha Stadium is a very good one.
Yes.
If you go to Kaduna, the Ahmadu Bello Stadium is a good one. All right. If you go to Eyimba, in fact, let me even shock you. Beyond Limits, which just qualified for, they have a very good stadium, a very good one, top notch. Okay, now they might just say because of the capacity, the size of it,
but
they,
capacity.
They have good facilities there. So we have good stadium in Nigeria. All we just need to do is renovate them, put them into shape, and sure, we're going to pass the test.
All right, thank you, sir, gentlemen. Comrade, let me come to you. I want to find out is what's wrong with our maintenance culture in Nigeria in terms with our sporting facilities. Well, when you come to Abuja here, we have the Go project. I think 2003.
That was made by FIFA.
Koga Games. Koja Games in 2003. A beautiful facility was put on ground here. But over the years, there has been poor maintenance culture. I don't know full details about other sporting facilities across the nation. Well, I know also Edo State is doing well in trying to maintain and encourage grassroots sports. But what's wrong with our maintenance culture in terms of our sporting facilities in Nigeria?
Thank you, Mr. Ebuka. I feel that this might just boil down to corruption. Sometimes the money is earmarked for this maintenance, and the people that are supposed to be in charge of the maintenance ends up eating this money or doing very, very shabby jobs. So I think I want to align my thoughts with Mr. Kelechi. We have the infrastructures, we have the stadiums, we just need maintenance. Our national stadium, when it was built, it was world class. When I saw it, I was really proud to be Nigerian then. But in recent times, it has become really, really poor. And I think when this president came in, I think he earmarked some money for the renovation of that particular stadium. I don't know if that job was actually done correctly. So I think we have the facilities, and I feel that the maintenance is just a problem. And the reason for this lack of maintenance, I personally believe that it is corruption. Having said that, I just want to draw our attention, probably just give a rundown of the people that will be representing us for the CAF Champions League, and these are the stadiums that really need to be renovated. I think Enugu Rangers, they will be playing the Champions League, the CAF Champions League, and the Remo Stars will be playing the
Confederation
Champions League also. Then on I think the Federation Cup, we have that's the CAF Confederation Cup. We have ACNNN and Eyimba. So these are the teams, and these are the stadiums that actually need to be prioritized. Thank you, Mr. Ebuka.
All right. So, in line with what you just made mention about when we talk about the maintenance culture, I just want to pull our mind back that there was a time during the Buhari regime when Buhari approved some form of innovation in collaboration with Dangote when
to maintain the national stadium pitch,
and
have you seen that stadium? Have you seen the I don't know what part of the stadium was renovated, because if you look at it very well, you know that what Comrade Soko said is spot on. Corruption. Because if you step into the main bowl itself, have you seen the tracks?
I have.
So
I was there a few weeks back.
The question we want to ask ourselves
is,
what did they maintain? Because the tracks are gone.
Even the grass, the main playing pitch, the main playing surface, the grass is something
It's like
else.
a swamp. When
You
you
know-
put when you stamp your foot on the ground.
You know, during the World Cup qualifiers between Nigeria and Ghana, I happened to be there when the last training session of the Eagles, and an incident happened. Now, what was the incident? Umar Zaidu picked the ball, and he just dropped it on the ground. Instead of the ball to bounce back, the
up,
ball was just on
landed.
the ground waiting for him. And he looked at Iwobi. And he also looked at Uzoho, the goalkeeper. I said, this ball is not bouncing. He picked it again. He bounced it. Uzoho picked it, and the ball was on the ground. Now, that's not a good playing turf. You know, a playing turf whereby you would go and then you will march, your leg will follow the ground and go inside, and then, you know, you don't expect. And also, Iwobi actually complained after the match that the playing turf isn't good. Because before you trap the ball, possibly one of the grass
have taken the ball away from you.
You know, it's not really a good one.
All right, so viewers, remember you can join these conversations by calling the numbers showing on your screen or sending your comments via our various social media handle. We're talking sports, and we know we are sports lovers in this part of the world. So on a more exciting note for the Nigerian referees, the chairman of the Nigerian Premier League Football League, Mr. Benga, has revealed that referees will be empowered with communication gadgets ahead of the 2024-2025 league season. Mr. Referees, I don't know. I thought you guys used to have a communication gadget before now.
The shout from our the shout from the
You
middle
have
of
to
the pitch.
shout and shout, referee, referee.
Yes, we don't, and as well I would say we do. Now we don't in the sense that it's not publicized. Okay, not all do. Okay, but if you go to some state councils, because each state they have state councils. Now if you go to some state councils where you have these matches, they have gadgets they use. For instance, if you go to Lagos State Council, they use communication gadgets. Okay, but other state
Is it
councils
walkie-talkie?
not walkie-talkie, no more communication gadgets. No. Okay. Yeah, we're coming up. It's a gradual process, and you agree with me that all this is not all about even getting the communication gadgets. It's all about usage. And maintenance. Okay. Now some of the referees in quotes might not be able to use it, but with training and retraining, certainly we will get there.
All right, we talked about corruption a few moments ago. How are we sure that the persons or the group of persons who have been assigned this task
Shall be one.
will they will not jump the ball?
I said something before the show started. I said, like, okay, communication gadgets. That's talk back, I believe.
Yes.
You know, and I said something on the lighter mode that when we were younger and we played on the streets, competitions on the streets, our VAR then was the big bros in the streets. When anything happens, you just see them sit down and go and say, "Bros, that ball na goal or no be goal." Whatever verdict those big bros give you is the verdict. Like Comrade Soko said, first is first. I want to say I'm a proud Nigerian because Nigerian can, in the Nigerian system, the Nigerian government, whatever you want to call it, they can build anything, any edifice you want, any infrastructure you want, any gadget you want, anything you want in this life. In fact, when you hear that there are only maybe a manufacturer built a car and there are only 3 in the world, you are sure that one
of it
is in Nigeria or will be owned by a Nigerian. We are that sophisticated, we can do these things, but our only problem is first and foremost actually doing it, giving people the money, and those people doing it, not thinking it's an avenue for them to enrich themselves. And then secondly, maintain these things that we have put in place. I remember there was a time that the Nigerian league was televised and people followed these games. What happened?
Partnership.
That's the problem. Why do we have problems with partnership?
Sponsorship.
Why do we have problems with sponsorship? We watch the EPL every now and then. We watch the Spanish league every now and then. They've not come one day and they told us they can no longer televise it because they could not find sponsors. I was listening on the radio 2 days ago, and I was hearing that the top goal scorer or the best player of the league was given 1 million naira. Even if they give you 1 million, there's nothing you do with that money. 1 million is no longer money anymore. Players are not even paid players are not paid. I read on one of the headlines.
Talking about players being paid. A headline says about the Nigerian Premier Football League. It says pay us 196 million naira or face FIFA route. That's coming from an S player. He's telling that.
Do you understand? That's on Kwara United. These are people. You want to introduce communication gadgets. Now my problem is this. Like Comrade Soko said, they get it. That's if they don't eat the money. That's one. Then secondly, usage. At this age and time, we're talking about people being able to use communication gadgets for crying out loud. We're not in the Stone Age. And then lastly, I hope these gadgets will not be used to manipulate games.
Okay. So if I may say, communication gadgets being used is to minimize errors. Yeah. Now we don't have VR.
Increase communication.
That's what I'm saying. Please, you're a referee.
Now let's look at it this way. Let's look at it this way. Okay, this communication gadget is going to be used by the officials.
Yes.
Okay. Now that does not mean.
So what his point is now is that maybe it's walkie-talkie. I might connect to your channel and tell the referee what to do.
Well, it's not really walkie-talkie. It's not really walkie-talkie.
If it's your proper gadgets, hope it will not be an avenue to manipulate games.
Exactly. No, it won't. Rather, it will reduce.
Because we know how to use tools the opposite way.
Exactly.
That's the problem.
Well, that's why we are going to engage into trainings. Okay, and certainly you agree with me. If you're being trained the right way, you wouldn't even think of manipulation.
Before I start hearing,
and if Mr. A is trying to manipulate, you don't expect Mr. B also to key into that. You don't expect Mr. C to key into that, and that does not mean also it's going to just be within just the 4 officials there. You're also going to have someone behind the scene also listening to this. That's why if you have VAR, if you agree with me with VAR, some calls where the referee makes, that's why the VAR gets to call the referee, say go check your screen.
But you also know that in that same situation, some of them don't call the ref to go and check, even when they need to go and do it. That's what I'm talking about. We're talking about people who use this equipment well enough to minimize errors. We're now looking at a situation whereby, just watch, for example, the Eimba Rangers game. You've played the whole 90 minutes, and they give you extra minutes, 8 minutes extra.
Yes.
The 96, 97 minutes from nowhere came a penalty.
Okay.
Don't you think from your communication guy, you're going to say, guy, time on the ritual, this game making no end like this.
Okay. Now the point is this: if you follow that Eimba match, that was a clear penalty call. Now, you still got minutes to play.
Okay.
All right. And there's one thing also some of us fail to understand, that in football, if let's say we have 5 additional minutes, and when these minutes are being added, there is also let's assume there's a goal scored. You should know that the few seconds you use in celebrating will be added.
It wasn't at the Euro finals.
That is the Euro finals.
It wasn't at the Euro finals.
Each competition rules have theirs. Now you watch the World Cup. You see crazy added minutes. 15 minutes added, and you ask yourself, are you playing extra half an hour or something like that?
They've actually stopped it. They wanted to try
that's
it.
What I'm trying
it
to tell
didn't
you.
work.
So
they had to stop it.
Each second you get to waste is being added, and the Eimba Rangers match, the time hasn't elapsed yet, and that was a penalty call. Now the grievances with the Rangers player is, why give the call? But we all know it, that once you have a contact with a player in a penalty area, it's a penalty call.
Would you have given us a penalty?
Certainly I will. Certainly I will. Okay,
maybe by now we'll not be sitting and talking.
Gentlemen, please let's not dwell on this too much, because that match has come and gone, and decisions has been made already. All right, so in few days time, in let's say a month or thereabout, Nigeria will playing its African Cup of Nations qualifiers against Benin Republic and a few other matches, and a whole lot of questions are on the lips of many Nigerian football lovers, and saying, no, is it that there's no in line with the coach of the Super Eagles, and they're asking, is it that there is no Nigerian good enough to handle the Super Eagles? Because as at now, Super Eagles has no coach.
The NFF is not serious. That's what I'll tell you. Because every now and then you read on the news, you hear NFF is debunking this. And one thing I know about Nigerian system, when they debunk something, find out there's something true about that thing. They're not serious. Just early this month, the Beach Sand Eagles, 9 days to
To the
their
competition.
qualifier with
So,
Mauritania. They were looking for
they're
coach for
looking for
them.
a coach, exactly.
The NFF, they're not serious, because if they were serious, now you're going to play the same Benin Republic that has
That
had a
beat us away.
coach, defeated you. You lost your own coach after that game, and from that point till now, you've not
had a
been
coach.
able to resolve the issue of your coaching staff, so that they come in and see what was wrong at that last game, to come and know what to do
How to fix
for
it,
the next coming game. And you're about to play them in a month's time, like you rightfully said. The NFF is not serious. I don't think the problem is with who is coaching who or who is not coaching who. The problem is with the body, because they are not serious. I know a lot of these people just want to be in that position. They don't know what it takes to do most of these jobs that we find ourselves doing. Like the one that became a very strong slogan, Emilocon, it's my turn. Do you get? Everybody does Emilocon in their own different corners. And I think that's what is happening with the NFF at the moment, because since they came into office, it's been here and there, here and there. Either you're bringing back an old coach that used to coach before. You want to ask yourself, what did the coach do differently that you're bringing the coach back? You'll be hearing you have Ladamboso now, you have Manu Garba now. Why did you sack them in the first place? Why are you bringing them back? Now you brought Finidi George, you gave him a contract, he lost the game, you threw him out. Now you've not been able to replace him.
Out. He resigned.
He resigned. I would resign too, because I have a contract with you and you're going behind my back to bring somebody to oversee me, do the job. That wasn't part of the contract. That wasn't part of the contract. So it's either you have that or you have me. Do you understand? So I think the NFF to put their act together, because they are the problem of Nigerian football.
All right, Comrade Soko. Before I come to Prince Kelechi, what's our problem? What remedy do we need to take now in order to resolve this problem? In line with the Super Eagles coaching crew, the head coach for the Super Eagles, having in mind that we have serious competitions fast approaching.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Ebuka. I want to align my thoughts strongly with Mr. Raphael, what he has said. I think it's a problem of people that are not just ready to do their jobs properly or better. Because I don't see a situation where the process of finding a coach is becoming rocket science. These people have the CVs. I believe that they have the applications. If you are settling for a foreign coach, I think you have a number of candidates that are already interviewing. So why don't you just go through the process in a very, very efficient way and make the appointment? Because if you make an appointment a week or 2 weeks to our qualifying game, there's no time for the coach to get to know the players. And let's even assume that we have maybe an interim coach. I don't know if we have an interim coach. I believe we do. Even if we have an interim coach,
We don't.
and
We don't.
take charge of that game, and we eventually appoint another coach, there is going to be a change in ideology. The coach will come with his own fresh ideas and disorganize what the interim coach has done. So I believe that this process should be, I think that they should to be fast with the whole process. I am hearing from reports that they're actually settling for Eric Shell. I think is the former coach of Mali. You understand? So I believe that's the report. And as Mr. Rafi has also said, they will come tomorrow and debunk that and say that, okay, no, that's just rumors and all that. But from the reports I'm getting, they are settling for Eric Shell. They said that Brennan was too expensive, that he was demanding $190,000 a month. So that option was too expensive for NFF. So from the reports I'm hearing, they are settling for Eric Shell.
All right, Prince Kelechi, let's come to you now, and let me find out from you now. With what is going on now, it looks like the arrow is pointing towards a foreign coach. Yeah, so I want to find out: is it that there are no Nigerians? There is no Nigerian that is good enough to coach the Super Eagles. We learned, or we know of the former coach of the under-17 or under-20, if I'm not mistaken, Emmanuel Emenike, who had earlier worked at the grassroots level and had developed a number of players which we are seeing already shining at the senior level now. Do you think a foreign coach is the best for Nigeria for now? And is it that there is no good Nigerian to coach the Super Eagles?
Well, truth be told, we have good coaches. We have good local coaches, if I'm to use that. Now, Emmanuel Amunike, a grassroots coach. But even from the grassroots, he moved to be a senior coach with Tanzania, and he qualified them for the Nations Cup.
The first ever.
Okay. Presently, information has it that he's he has signed or is going to sign with Heartland of Owerri. Now we have local coaches, enough of them with good CVs, with very good CVs. Okay, but I'm looking at a situation whereby these players, will I say now, they've outgrown being coached by a local coach, or they don't see these local coaches as those that have good CVs to coach them. But when it comes to Victor Osimhen was discovered by Amunike.
Yeah, true. And a few others.
And a few others. Now, these are players now that we have in the current Super Eagles crop. And if he can develop them, if he can look for them, develop them to the stage where they are, then I want to tell you, have good coaches. Okay, what's his name? The late Stephen Keshi was a very good coach, a very good one. Okay, we have the late Yemi Tella, and so on. So Nigerians, we are blessed with coaches. Now, if you want to go back to the grassroots, someone said something. He said, today you appoint Ladamboso, tomorrow you appoint this for this our junior cadre coaches. What happens to the coach of Beyond Limits Football Club? Now, have you seen the strides this club is making? You know, they win both local and international matches. They win both local and international tournaments. Why don't you bring these persons into coaching these our teams? And you're going to see results. So when it comes to Nigeria, we have 1,001 good coaches. But just like Comrade Soko said, Mr. Raffet, the politics there, please.
All right. So a follow-up, Prince Kelechi. We know Nigerians were blessed with good resources, both natural and human resources. And you made mention of the Nigeria being blessed with talented and good coaches. So I want to find out, in line with getting the right person for the job, these good coaches that we have been blessed with, are they qualified coaches? Are they internationally qualified, recognized, and satisfied coaches?
So, of course, for you to be a coach, you ought to have the criteria for being a coach.
Okay.
Someone like Emmanuel Amunike is a world recognized coach.
FIFA,
because
UEFA,
because if you're not recognized, you can't coach a senior team.
Okay.
He coached Tanzania. Okay, Sunday Olusi also coached the Nigerian Super Eagles. Okay, so we have these coaches with good CVs, but Nigerians, I would say,
Nigerian factor.
I don't think.
Well, not
I don't
the
think.
Nigerian factor. We have this mentality of, if it's not a foreign coach, I don't think we'll do well.
I don't think it's about like you've rightfully mentioned the ones that we all can agree that are good. Stephen Keshi had his time. Coach Emitela had his time. Emmanuel Amunike is still there. I think those are the only three we can pin down. There was a certain Shoaibu Amodu, who is late, God rest his soul. And then we also had Christian Chukwu. Do you understand? But I think by the time we go away from all these guys, we don't really have that much. If we want to start dabbling into whether they are good or not, they should first of all go and test the waters, like Emmanuel Amunike has done.
Yeah.
3 of them have done so. Christian Chukwu coached Kenya at some point. Stephen Keshi coached Togo and qualified them for the World Cup at some point. Emmanuel Amunike did the same thing with Tanzania. But these other guys that we keep calling, their only record is trying to push themselves to the Super Eagles when they don't have any record to show where they're coming from.
But remember, Sunday Olusi coached a German team, I think a Division 2 German team, if I'm not mistaken. Even though he did not stay for long, but he did coach them.
And then we saw what he did with the Super Eagles. Came and destroyed the camp. So he, when he came out some few weeks back to come and talk about how some players, he liked some, he did this, he did that. And those players came to debunk it. To the point himself and Mikel are having fracas. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And, he forgets. A lot of us were not born yesterday when people like him and Finidi George and the likes were giving the coaches then problem. not even local coaches then. That
Foreign
was why
coaches.
people like Finidi George, Tijani Babangida, Victor Ikpeba, Sunday Olise, Victor Agali, and the likes didn't make the 2002 World Cup squad, but they played the qualifiers. They didn't make that team, but they played the qualifiers.
All right, gentlemen. So we have a strong tide that's against us, which is time, and it's already pulling us out of the studio. Viewers, remember you can join this conversation. The numbers to call are showing on your screen, and also you can equally send in your comment via our various social media handle. And I'm going to read a comment from one of our handles. It says, "I think Nigeria needs Pep as our coach, so that everyone will calm down." All right,
We need a
that's
Seminga. Or maybe we need a Seminga or Jurgen Klopp.
that's a viewer's opinion that we need Pep Guardiola. NFF, please, I hope you're listening to us this morning. Please do find out
If they can't
how
pay,
we
if they can't pay Renard,
Yes,
I don't think they
they
can.
should not go near Pep.
Or say Mourinho. I don't think they should even go
alright.
close.
So we should think in the direction of Pep Guardiola or his likes like Mourinho, and maybe we should go and bring back Alex Ferguson from retirement.
Oh,
Even as a winger also is not a bad option, you know.
Arsenal winger. All right, so let's move ahead quickly, and we'll go into the 2024 Paris Olympic preparation. So the Super Falcons, yes, are to arrive Bordeaux today in preparation for the Olympics Games, and the Federal House of Representatives came out yesterday to say they are supporting Nigerian athletes at the Paris Olympics 2024 with a huge sum of 100 million naira. So, gentlemen, what's your overview of our preparation, of our preparedness so far for the Paris Olympics?
we've not really heard too much about their preparedness. The only team that I believe have been up and doing is the Tigress. Because they went to camp on time and they've been trying to put one or two together. Then the athletes have been active because they've been taking part in different tournaments. And then you have the Super Falcons who just played the friendly game
And they lost
yesterday.
to Canada.
You can lose a friendly game. Friendly game, you don't necessarily mind. You just lost to one team. I don't know what you mean. So you don't necessarily have to win the game. The friendly games are just to help you put yourself together.
harmonize
This is the
your
same
team.
Canada that Super Falcons beating. What I think we drew with them at the World Cup.
And remember that the current Olympic champions.
They are the current Olympic champions. So the people should not take friendly games too serious because nobody wants to get injured before the main tournament itself. And then the coaches want to know if these things are the
strength and
the
weakness of
ideas
the
they've
team,
put together is working out. But all in all, I believe that they've been trying and putting themselves together for the Olympics because we want to be able to come back with something tangible.
All right, Comrade Soko. Earlier on, when we went on break, we watched a video about on how prepared Paris is to welcome the international world to its city. So, what do you think, in line with the preparation so far in Paris? What do you think will be, or what should we project for our teams? So, representing us in the athletes, the female football, the female team, and in football, and then in basketball. What do you think should we project or expect?
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Ebuka. I am actually very excited about this upcoming Olympics, slated to start on the 26th of July this month. And from all reports I'm hearing that we are using the Atlanta 96 as a benchmark for this tournament. And if you should go back to Atlanta 96, I think we won 2 gold, we won 2 silver, and I think 3 bronze. So we did marvelously well at that games. I also want to commend Sports Minister for the preparation so far for these Olympic Games. We have not had issues of paucity of funds. The funds are made available, and for the first time for a very long time, we actually have a camp. I think our athletics, we have the camp. They have an athletic camp in Germany, Saarbrücken in Germany. So it's actually a good one. I'm very excited. I'm looking forward to the athletic team in our own camp in Team Nigeria. It's also very important to mention that we have a world record holder in all those, the person of our own
To be
Toby Amuson.
To be
So
express.
I think that is a very, very good one for us. And I think we are also, there's need for us to be excited with our relay teams, both the 4x100 and 4x400 in both categories. But if I should lean towards a pointer for gold, if I should say where is our gold more likely to come from, I think it's going to come from the 4x400 category, relay category, in the male category.
How about
So I'm
wrestling?
really optimistic in that category. Also, when you come to our discus team, I think we have 3 ladies that are doing very, very well. They are doing very well in discus. So there's need for us to be optimistic in that particular category. Then we also have
Ese Brume.
who she from the last Olympic in long jump. She won a bronze medal. So I think she's also going to do very, very, very well. So the women discus team, as I mentioned, we have Obiageli Abilishi, we have Shuma Oyekwere, and we have Ashley Anumba. This is a star-studded lineup, and they also perform very well in the Commonwealth Games. So generally in athletics, there is really, really cause for optimism, and I believe that we are going to perform very well, Mr. Ibuka.
All right, thank you. So, Prince Kelechi, let me ask, for the past 16 years, the Nigerian female team has failed to participate in the Women Olympics football, and now they are back on the platform. What's your wish for them?
Well, I won't wish them nothing less than good luck, because looking at the team, the groupings we are, where you have Spain, you have Brazil, I think Japan as well. Now these are world powers in terms of football. But notwithstanding, we also are world power, because in Africa we are the best, and for you to be the best, you have to beat the best. So we might see it as mission impossible. But trust me, if you have the right mindset and the good
Remember,
frame
we're
of mind.
playing against teams like Brazil.
We're playing
Brazil,
Brazil,
Japan.
yes, Japan and Spain. Yes, Spain are the current European and world champions. Yes, Brazil has a very good team, having their one of their oldest player, Mata, and the rest of it. But just like I said, to be the best, you have to beat the best as well. Okay, so if we go in with that positive mindset that we are playing you, not we're playing Spain or world champion, no. Have that mindset that you too are a champion.
You're a champion.
Okay, and if you go in with a good and positive mindset, sure, football is all about upsets. And
All right.
certainly we can upset them.
All right, thank you very much, viewers. We are expecting we always look forward to having you being part of this show by sending your comment via your social media handle and calling in. So one of our viewers writes, and he says he hopes that the money release should actually reach the athletes and not some officials gathering the money to themselves and spending all their time inside hotels like the last Olympics. And then another comment says, please, I hope they have taken care of the Olympic kids and not athletes washing their kids.
They even have they have an issue concerning that kit at the moment.
Okay.
Because every team comes with one sponsor branding their kits. Nigeria has 2. So now we don't know which is which.
Yeah.
Nigeria has 2 right now.
Sponsors.
So I don't know if they will come out finally to say this is the actual one that we're going with, or if they're carrying the 2 of them. But as we speak, there's a controversy as it regards to kits.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, gentlemen, we have to move on because time is fast against us. So let's quickly move on to. I'm going to just quickly run down some things before we'll talk about them. All right. So, just to give you an update on the transfer news so far, we have Olise has moved from Tottenham to Bayern Munich. The fee is 53 million euros, and that's the highest for this summer transfer. All right, so we have Luis moving from Aston Villa to Juventus at the rate of 51.5 million euros, and then we have Paul Fina moving from Fulham to Bayern at 51.1 million euros, and we have on our radar the star boy of the Super Eagles, who has been into so many sagas recently. Osimhen is now alleged to be
heading towards
PSG to replace Mbappe, who had signed for
Real Madrid.
Real Madrid, in the course of the week, unveiled Mbappe, and when we saw Mbappe repeating the same speech Ronaldo made a few years back when he was unveiled, and he's saying it's like it's a dream come true for him to play in his in the club he loves so much. All right, so we also have a few other players who are also on the list of the transfer list. We have Kelman moving from Aston Villa to Chelsea at the transfer fee of 22.5 million euros. All right, so gentlemen, the Euros finals was played over the weekend, and we saw the emergence of Spain as the champions of Euros 2024, and also the Copa America final had been played, and we saw the Argentines emerging as the champions of the Copa America 2024. And after England lost to Spain at the finals, we recorded, or we read about the resignation of the head coach of England, Gareth Southgate, who has tendered his resignation letter from his position as the head coach of the Three Lions of England. All right, and afterwards, at the end of the match, we saw a lot of controversies in line with Argentine players chanting some songs and in against the French team, where they chanted that there are more blacks in the French team, and a whole lot of persons who were not expected to be part of the whole saga was or were part of it. Somebody like Enzo Fernandez.
He was the one with the camera.
Yeah, he was the one with the camera. Enzo Fernandez was cheering and leading the whole chanting, and the double F or triple F of France has come.
French Football Federation.
Yes, French Football Federation has filed a lawsuit against the Argentine football side. And also we also read or saw the accounts where Enzo had come out on his social media to apologize and said he's sorry to have been carried away with the fun and the celebration and everything. And that's a whole lot of things had happened within the course of this period because of this saga. But I want to hear the views of our analyst here in the studio, so I'm going to start with Prince Kelechi, and I want to know what's your overview of Euros 2024 and Copa America 2024 coupled with the transfer news and the saga on.
Okay, I'll start with the transfer news, and I will say the transfer news is going well. It's Mr. Raphael's team Arsenal. They are yet to do the needful, but I trust they will. And for the Euros, I must tell you, it's some persons will say it did not live up to expectation, but I will tell you also it did, because it brought up some new crop of players like Lamine Yamal. Imagine the youngest player and the rest of it. For the Copa America also, it went well. We want to say also get well soon to Lionel Messi with his swollen leg, his swollen ankle. Yeah, but for the chant, I must be honest with you, it's actually a racist chant, because if you check after that, most black players in Chelsea unfollowed Enzo Fernandez. Most black players in Chelsea unfollowed him. Yeah, he has come out to apologize, but the damage has already been done. That's just it. It's just like after I slap you and come and tell you sorry. the pains have already been inflicted on you. So I'll just advise that we should respect each other, irrespective of religion, race, color, tribe, and all that. That's the spirit of fair play. So that's just my take on it. And lastly, congratulations to Spain for emerging champions and
All right,
four-time
so
European champions.
yeah, congratulations to Spain. Viewers, if you watch on your screen now, we'll see the list of players, teammates of Enzo Fernandez who have, in anger or in solidarity
Solidarity with
to,
the French, yeah.
to the French team, have unfollowed him on his social media handle. All right, Mr. Raphael, what's your overview of the just concluded Copa America? I know Mr. Prince Kelechi made mention of the player that was crowned youngest and best
Lamine Yamal.
player in the Euros. What about those who were named at the Copa America the best
The best player was James Rodriguez,
yes,
who people thought his career has finished.
exactly.
Came back from nowhere, had 6 assists and 2 goals,
Yeah.
and were thinking he was going to crown it with the trophy, but it didn't work as planned. The Copa America went well. The only hitch there is the security issue and the brawl between the Uruguay team and the
fans, yeah.
fans of the Colombians, I think. So I think they need to put the acts together when hosting this tournament, so we don't have such events again. And going down to the issue of Enzo, who is very insensitive, knowing fully well that he's playing with blacks and was sharing the chants and recording it. He might have apologized, but he's still coming to meet them.
Mm-hmm.
He's
He's
still coming to meet them. So if I were Chelsea, Comrade Soko, beg your team. After all, he has not been playing very well.
Yeah.
But it's the most expensive signing. Don't
See,
forget.
yes, yeah, let him be the most
But
expensive.
Before we go, let's listen to the chant of that the Argentines chanted after being crowned champions. All right, so that's what was
Being chanted.
being chanted.
From one that was translated, said they play for France, but they're not from France.
Yes, they are
They are blacks.
Their
Their mother is Angola. Their
Yeah,
father is Nigeria.
Nigeria, you know.
This and that.
They're going to France for passport, something like
Yeah.
that.
So if I Comrade Soko, please tell your management to sell him. Now at least you have Kopama who is doing a great job, and Saicedo came out
Yeah,
towards the end of the league last season. He was doing very well. So you have good cover up that can do the job, so that I don't bring a player that will come and destroy your dressing room. That's my own take, and congratulations to Spain.
And sorry, just to add up, do you notice also this is the first time Lionel Messi has played a tournament without winning the best player?
Without scoring a goal.
That's kind of, and then when he was substituted,
He was also crying.
was crying.
When Ronaldo cried, the whole world wanted to fall down, and Ronaldo is crying. Now Messi cried and nobody's talking about it.
talking
Well,
about
let's say nobody spoke about it because he later lifted the trophy, but Ronaldo did not. But notwithstanding, actually,
Emotion is emotion.
Yeah,
Either you leave the trophy or you don't leave the trophy. He cried.
All right, comrade, what do you have to say about your player Enzo Fernandez and his action after
Okay,
the announcement?
They're gonna sell him.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Ebuka. I want to say that personally, I don't feel that the Argentina team meant to be racist. I felt that probably they were trying to banter. It was in response to, I think, there was a trophy the French team won, and in their praise of N'Golo Kante in that particular game, they were saying that he was the one that stopped Messi. Though he's a very small man, he was able to stop the almighty Messi. So I think that particular chant was in response to the chant by the French national team. But unfortunately, the words, as Mr. Raphael had pointed out, turned out to be actually racist.
Yeah,
They used words like you being a transgender, you being from Angola, you being from your mother being from Nigeria. Those in our words today, in our society today, these particular words can be categorized as racism. And I think this is not an isolated incident. It has actually happened in the past before with Cavani, and I think he was banned for 6 months. And I think I think he was referring to Eva, and he said Negro or so. So it is not an isolated incident from these South American players. So it was a very, very distasteful joke. I don't think it's enough for us to terminate his contract as a fan
I
of
say
Chelsea.
sell him, sell him,
That
sell
he
him,
should face
sell him.
disciplinary action and face some fines and probably be banned for some games. But I don't think that we should threaten his career as a result of this. And we also take a note of the fact that he has also come out to apologize. So in time, I believe that we should forgive and forget. So generally, the Copa America was perfect. It went well. There we had some incidents, as Mr. Raphael pointed out, trying to get into stadiums without tickets and browse between the Colombia team and France and so on. So generally, it was a successful tournament, and kudos to the Argentinian team for successfully defending their trophy. I think they were the holders of the trophy, and they successfully defended it. So on the Euros, I think Spain, it was a well-deserved victory for Spain. Right from the goal against Croatia, that match they won 3-0. They turned out to be really people that were ready to put in the work. I think with a mile, they were the most exciting team in the tournament. No other team came close. Unlike England, which wobbled and struggled their way into the final.
They play like Nigeria to the final.
I do not feel that England deserve to be in that finals. They were lucky to be in a category that they made them not to face really tough opponents. I think the toughest opponent they faced was Netherlands. Unlike Spain rose to the final, which they played France and they played another very tough
Germany.
So it was a well-deserved victory for the Spanish national team. And there was a lot of fallout because we saw the coach of England resigning, Southgate, and I think that is long overdue because with him, I don't think that England is playing an exciting football. You used 2 defensive midfielders in the person of Declan Rice and Mino, when you can actually bring in Palmer and bring in Eberechi Eze and have a more attacking play. So I think he has not been up to par as a coach for the English national side. So generally, it was an exciting tournament, and the best player, the player that impressed me the most in the Euros was Fabian Ruiz. I never knew that guy can play football like that. It was really impressive, and I felt that he could have easily won the best player of the tournament instead of Rodri. But Rodri also deserved it. Thank you, Mr. Ebuka.
All right, so
comrade, I just wanted to ask you a question now. With the Enzo Fernandez issue coming back to Chelsea, and just like Mr. Rafa said, meeting the Blacks there, do you think the relationship is still going to be there?
Yeah, with Jackson and the likes.
Yeah, do you think the relationship is there by the share?
No, I feel that they are professionals. When he come, I believe that he will have a chance to explain himself why he should have to do that.
They will lie him up. They will lie him down in the dressing room and give him some lashes.
Yeah, what we should take note of, Mr. Kelechi. Personally, it will be very. I don't think that Mr. Enzo meant to be racist, because it is very foolish for you to be singing a racist song. You are exhibiting your racism on camera. So I don't think that it meant to be racist. And we should also take note that Nicola Jackson has come out in support of him. In as much as we have 10 players that have come out to criticize him and unfollow him on social media, there are also players that are in support of him, black players that have come to show solidarity with this player.
Nicolas
This is
Jackson,
a
I
player
don't
that they
like.
play in with day in, day out. They understand that his personality, they understand that, okay, this was probably a bad joke. So in Nigeria, we joke, make fun of ourselves all the time, and it does not escalate to this. But you know, in the north, in the west, in the Western society, they have a more, I think, a more unique history, and some of these things are more sensitive to them. Thank you, Mr. Kilishi.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. So sorry,
My own, I want to just say, why were they chanting about the French team that didn't play in the
They
Copa
did not play
America?
in the Copa.
Yes, because this is Euro and this
team,
is
played
Copa
in
America.
Why?
You know?
Why?
All right, so we just have to call it a date here because the time has far been spent, and I want to say that whatsoever or the chants that the Argentines chanted after
Victory.
their victory is totally a racist chant, and it was so inappropriate and was not respectful to the governing body and the international body in a whole, because I know in Premier League at every point in time before a match all
Yeah.
players are expected to take a kneel, and Enzo Fernandez does that
Does
while
that as well.
featuring for Chelsea. So, and I see that as a very disrespectful action in regards to what he did. And so, all right, to call it a day today, we will just want to include in the list we made mention of about it when we talked about the transfer list gist. We want to let you know that Super Eagles legend Vincent Inyema's son has signed a contract with Lille SC of France as their goalkeeper.
Yeah.
That's the son following the tracks of his father, and we'll pray and for a good outing. We wish him well as he pursues his dream as a goalkeeper. All right, that's all for today's show. Thank you for joining us on Now Streaming. Don't forget to stay tuned tomorrow for more news, and I want to appreciate our guest in the studio, referee and analyst Prince Kelechi, and
Pleasure.
Shushu commentator and sports analyst also Mr. Raphael
Thank you very
Jawokumo,
much.
and also comrade Abraham Soko, a political and sports analyst all the way from Delta State, Nigeria. We appreciate you so much for being part of the show, and up to you also viewers. We are so excited and happy to have you all every time we come on this terrestrial, and we have you at our back. And so finally, we want to, today is a very special day for us in the Church of Nigeria, in the Anglican Communion, because our father and the primate and the head of our organization is celebrating his birthday. So we want to send a special birthday wish and prayer to the to His Grace the primate, Most Reverend Heritage Ndukuba, primate of all Nigeria, who will say to you, Your Grace, happy birthday, sir, and may God bless you with many more years of good health, wisdom, and success as you pilot the affairs of this church in our nation, Nigeria, under the umbrella of the Anglican Communion, and in this your decades of the reign of God Almighty. We celebrate you today and always, and we wish you all the best. And to you viewers, that's all for now from our sports segments. Remember, the show still continues tomorrow at 10 a.m. Please join us again. So stay tuned for other programs lined up for today. Remember, you are not alone. God bless you.